Hey everybody, JesseMorrell here in Shipshewana, Indiana. And this is Amish country. Actually, you're going to see some horse and buggy coming up behind. You know, this is pretty old school. And here I come once a year for a conference. It's called the EEM conference. It's like a moral government theology conference. One of the guest speakers, it's a smaller conference, but it's nice. And when we first drove into town, you know, my kids, I bring my family with me every time we come here. It's sort of a family trip. But when we first get here and we see the horse and buggy, you know, the kids get all excited because you don't normally get to see all these horses and these buggies. And I think there's actually a lesson in public speaking in that, because the fact that, this is unusual. And you don't often see horse and buggy going down the street. That goes to show that really, if you want to captivate people's attention, if you want to captivate their interest, you have to be a bit unusual. You have to be out of the norm. You have to be something new or something that they don't normally see. And when I go out and preach on campus, you know, one of the things that I do is try and stand out. You know, and so I wear these vests and, you know, tie or suspenders on campus, and I, you know, just in clothing and in appearance, I'm distinct from the rest of the students. And so that just naturally, I think, stirs up some curiosity and interest in them. Makes people stop and look, because it's unusual. It's not normal. You know, I dress a little bit old-fashioned, especially when I'm wearing the suspenders, you know, and the hats that I wear. That's all intentional and designed to draw a crowd, or at least to help contribute to that, you know, end. And so there's certain keys to public speaking, especially like street preaching or campus preaching. Number one, you need to be unusual. You need to stand out. You need to be distinct. You know, the mind is drawn to things that are new or to things that are unusual. It's just how the mind works. And number two, you know, if you want to be a good public speaker, and this is what I did at the conference, was I told a lot of stories, because stories engage the mind in a way that just bare data and information does not. They say that stories are information with soul, you know, and it engages your mind and really sticks into your memory. In fact, if you study memory techniques, they basically teach you, you know, how to do like bizarre imagery and you know, use your mind in visualizations, and stories do that. Now, Jesus is the master teacher, and Jesus told lots of stories. So this is biblical teaching. And so if you want to be a good public speaker, you need to tell lots of stories to make your points if you want to keep the interest. And you could tell, you know, when I analyze different speakers, you know, I'll critique different speakers. And speakers who never tell stories, who are just bare facts and information, I watch the audience and I see how they just don't have anybody's interest. You know, people are falling asleep, people are not paying attention. But I challenge you, when you're you know, critiquing or watching public speakers, when they're telling stories, take a look around the room and see how many people are actually interested. We got some trucks here. And you'll notice a lot more people are interested when, I mean, sometimes it's like the whole audience. I was at a street preacher conference, and some of the street preacher kids who were at the conference, they put on a little talent show. Let me go over here where it's quieter, you got better lighting. Some of the street preacher kids were putting on a puppet show, and the whole room came to watch, and everybody was hanging on every word. It's a little puppet show with a street preacher puppet, and you know, the street preacher had his own sign and that sort of thing. But the whole conference was more captivated with a puppet show than any other speaker at the whole conference, because it's just how we are. You know, that's why the movie industry is so huge, or people read all these books, you know, that are just stories. People love stories. So if you're going to be a good public speaker, now I'm not like, you know, a master public speaker. I've been studying it for like 14 years now. I've been preaching, and you know, public speaking is an art form, but the more stories you could tell, the better. And also, you know, mix in some humor. Jesus also preached with like one-liners, maybe like, you know, what I call shock and awe. One-liners are very quotable. You know, unless you repent, you'll perish. Unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you won't see life. Things that are not easy to ignore, and things that are not easy to forget. A good public speaker will use those types of one-liners. And so I just wanted to make a real quick video. Like I said, I'm just here in Shipshewana, Indiana for an annual conference. I come every year. If you're in the area, if you ever want to come, it's the EEM conference. That's for Evangelistic Education Ministries. And we have just a few different ministries that come, and we share. We have presentations for Friday and Saturday. And just wanted to make a real quick video because, you know, the Amish are not a usual sight for my family, and when it really captivates the interest and attention of my children, I thought, you know, there's a lesson to be learned there on public speaking. You know, be a bit out of the norm, be a bit unusual, stand out. And you know, as Christians, we're supposed to stand out. Our values ought to stand out in our culture. Our views ought to stand out in our culture. When I'm open air preaching on a campus, just the things that I say are so politically incorrect that the students don't normally hear these things, and that in and of itself helps me to draw these massive crowds out on campus because my Christian values are so politically incorrect. And that actually helps to our advantage because it just makes the meeting all the more interesting to the mind of unbelievers. So that's just my quick exhortation. Keys to public speaking. There's many more keys. I can go on and on and on. In fact, one day maybe I'll even do a whole series on, you know, keys to public speaking or something. But that's it. Stand out. Be unusual. You know, like I dress a little bit old-fashioned sometimes. That helps. Be shock and awe. Politically incorrect. Use stories, and mix a little humor into your preaching. It always helps. So. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this video. If you ever get a chance to come check out Amish country, they have great food. They're across the streets, this old Amish restaurant we go to. Great fried chicken and mashed potatoes, and always get to see these horse and buggy. And you can pay them. They'll take you for a ride. I do that with my family. We'll pay, you know, $15 or something, go for a ride, horse and buggy ride across. And there's all these cool antique stores and arts and crafts from the Amish. So just want to take advantage of this opportunity. God bless you guys. Have a good night.